Are the YieldMax ETFs actually making people money? Well, that's what I set to find out with this challenge where I put $100 split between 10 of them. And here's our updated video. I did miss last month, so we are on month 3 of this challenge. We've had a ton of insane dividends and some pretty insane returns, even with the market being a little bit crazy. So we're going to cover all of that, go through the ones that are making money, what is losing money, and see if this account is even worth having for those of you that might want to invest in the YieldMax ETFs. Now, the yields range from all of like 40 to like 90%. So invest at your own risk. It's not financial advice, but let's see what these funds are really made of. Before we jump into it, don't forget, if you're interested in high income ETFs and making money in the stock market, you are in the right place. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe so you don't miss any future updates on the channel, as well as our weekly dividend accounts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's roll that intro. If you guys haven't noticed, I might sound a little bit funny. I at some point bit my tongue in my sleep last night, and I can't really talk correctly. Not that I sounded that good before, but it's even worse now. So I apologize for that. If I have a little bit of a lisp, you can make fun of me for it in the comments because they will make me laugh. So on the 1 month, we are down $54, almost 6%. If we go year to date, we can see we are down $137.78, a 13.85% drop. But some of these are positive and some are not. Currently, they should all be dripping. I should check if they all have drip on because sometimes Robinhood does something kind of funny with these accounts. But the 10 YieldMax funds that we have in the account, CONY, TSLY, YMAG, YMAX, AMZY, NVDY, MSTY, whoop, fan favorite, XYZY, that's a hard one to say, PLTY, and ULTY. If you guys don't know, YMAG and YMAX pay weekly, and ULTY just switched to weekly. So we had one monthly payment as well as some weekly payments from it this month, which is all kind of confusing. We're going to do a full look at each one of these. We'll see what the chart has done over the past couple of months, if it's made money, lost money, and then we're going to look at the dividend tracking spreadsheet that I actually had created for the channel, where we'll break down the dividends and what's positive and what's negative in the account. Starting off on a terrible note, CONY is down 22.13% in the past month. Year to date, down 41.63%. My buy-in price is $13.09, and it's currently trading for $7.81. So if you're asking how does CONY hold up in a bad market, not well. It gets even worse if we zoom out more. On the year, it's down 73.75%. That is horrific. Trading initially at $20, almost $30, and now we're under 10. Oh, this is just scary. I hope it can rebound. I don't know. We all know the market's on its head right now. Everything's falling. We've seen a drop in like the S&P 500, like 7-8%. So I'm not surprised that these are getting really beaten down, but it's hard to watch. It's definitely hard to watch. Coinbase, the fund that CONY is based off of, has fallen as well because crypto has fallen, and thus we see this disaster that is a 74% loss in 1 year. Now, if you're asking me, is it now the time to buy CONY? I don't know. I'm not buying more besides drip, but I will be watching it very, very closely. And believe it or not, CONY is not the worst performer in this account. I don't even think it's close, to be honest, which is very unfortunate. Speaking of, let's look at ticker TSLY. TSLY is actually not doing nearly as bad. I am surprised. Our market value is $73. Now, remember, we start with 100 in each exactly. So our average cost of $13.19. Currently, it still sits at $8.50, so it's actually better than CONY. If we zoom out to the year to date, it's down only 40%, 39%. And if we go to the 1 year, down about 50%. So yeah, it's rough, but not as bad as CONY. And I'm really surprised by that, to be honest. People seem to like CONY a lot more than TSLY. So who knows? Is now the time to buy TSLY? I don't know. Please don't ask me. Obviously, I'm not great at investing. I'm down 70% on some of these already. Not 70%. I'm down 40%, but still, 40% is kind of rough. We're down 35.69%. There's always 69 somewhere on this, I swear. But not happy about that. I've owned TSLY for a long time on and off in all the different accounts and challenges that I've done, and not super impressed. Not super impressed, but we have some hope with some of the others. And of course, the dividends are going to counteract this, which we'll see in our spreadsheet. The first of the weekly payers. And I mean, we're down 21.21% in the past 3 months. On the 1 year, down 26%. So not nearly as bad as it could be. Let's be honest. This makes me feel a lot better about these weekly payers, actually. Average cost of 19.08 and a current price of 15.23. We are only down 20%. Currently, we're sitting at 87.75, so we're down about $13. Not terrible. Well, $12.25 actually. Not bad. I wonder how YMAG compares to YMAX. Both of these are two of the most popular weekly payers. YMAX is the largest, I believe, and YMAG is large, but not as large. The dividends have been really, really solid, and I think it's cool that you get them paid out 4 times a month instead of just once a month. But they're definitely not for everybody, as we can see with the price return. Now, I don't think this is NAV erosion. I've said that before. I usually kind of freak out like, oh, it's dropping, because my old style investor, the old style investor within me is like, wow, all your money's losing. But in reality, we're getting dividends, we're buying at new lows, and if it ever bounces back up, if it ever trades sideways for a while, we're going to get a pretty decent return. So YMAG, definitely one of my favorites of the weekly account. Let's check out YMAX, which is definitely the largest. Not only is it larger, the return is better. So we can see, actually, we'll start with the 1 month. We are down under 10%, which is absolutely insane. These others, like I said, are dropping crazily. We're down 21% year to date. Not great. And on the 1 year, we're down 40%. So that's how it is definitely falling faster than YMAG, but the dividends are higher. We can see our total market value of $90. We are down 20.06%. So of our $100 invested, we're only down 10%. Not bad. Now remember, with Drip On, it's going to throw these numbers off because we're constantly buying more every single week. And so that really does change things. But our average cost of $16.92 to the current price of $13.53 is not looking that bad. Again, our average cost is going to keep falling because we're going to keep dollar cost averaging down until YMAX jumps back up. So that's why I like doing this. It's fun to see how Drip plays a factor and how price falling versus higher yield plays a factor. So if you're really interested in just specific weekly income, and you don't care that the NAV is falling, YMAX is your play. It's also one of 3 in the account in our just sole weekly account that is still positive since the inception of these weekly payers. If you're interested in that video, I'll link it at the end, but you have to wait, finish this one first, and then you can check that out. AMZY holding up relatively well, down 7% in the last month. Year to date, down 14.4%. So better than some of the others. We are only down 8% on this one, which is pretty wild. We see an average cost of 19.05 and a current share price of 16.35. So yes, we are still in the red. Potentially with dividends, maybe we are not. We're going to find out very, very shortly. But I do like AMZY. I'm a big fan of Amazon, not necessarily because of the company itself, but just the stock. I mean, I've traded it over and over again. Not as much as Tesla, but I've traded Amazon over and over again. And I don't think I've ever lost money on it, or at least ever sold when I was losing money. Normally, it just bounces back up. So some of these opportunities to buy right now are kind of crazy. I am curious to know what you guys are buying. Are there any YieldMax funds you're buying? Are there any normal stocks you're buying? Shouldn't say normal. Domestic stocks? Are there any other ETFs you're buying, income, weeklies? Let me know in the comments down below because I'm curious if everyone's buying, if we're still holding. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We'll find out relatively soon when one day I just decide to buy something. But all in all, AMZY, not a bad return. NVDY was one that I was actually really excited about in the beginning, but it has fallen 10% over the past month, 33, almost 34% in the last 3 months, so year to date. Average cost of $22.70 to current price of $15.59. Kind of rough. We are down 18.5%, which I'm not happy about, but NVIDIA took a beating for a number of reasons. There was a bunch of news coming out about some AI chip from China that was out competing them or something or other. To be honest, there's too much news to keep up with these days that I just can't do it all. But it is fun. It's fun trying to see what's going on. So I do understand why NVDY is falling. The market, again, like I said, as a whole is falling, and the YieldMax ETFs seem to not perform well in these bearish markets. I don't know. You'd think the implied volatility would increase the options, which the options, as we're going to look at, have been doing relatively well. We've been getting some good money coming in. But all in all, we are just still down on the account, which is definitely unfortunate. Of course, we have MSTY next, a fan favorite, and it's only down under 3%, which is absolutely crazy. Now, I will say, I've been getting some comments asking, hey, Spencer, invest. Do you ever actually invest money or do you only talk about it? Because I do like the $10,000 invested videos and whatnot where I don't actually invest 10K. I invest hypothetically, depending on the timeline and scale to see the returns. Now, a couple things here, guys. I have over $4,000 invested in a bunch of different brokerages for YouTube. These are literally for YouTube. I would never buy $100 of all of these. Some of them drop significantly. They're not my investment strategy, but I do it because it's fun. I like seeing how they perform, and I like talking with other people that are interested in these investments. Now, some of the YieldMax ones I do own in my Roth, and I've owned them for a while, and I'm a fan of them, but not all of them. So I do invest, but come on. I'm doing the best that I can. If you wanted me to invest $10,000 every time I made an investing 10K video, I would need to have like $400,000, and I'm not rich, obviously. I'm wearing a really old hoodie. My plant's dying. I gave it water today, just for those of you that are interested. But anyway, back to MSTY. Year to date, it is down almost 21%, but the dividends have been huge, and that's been helping bump this one up. I bit my tongue again. There's no way. Average cost, $26.95. Pretty high. We're at $21.45 currently. Also, no one's allowed to tell Nat how much money I've invested for YouTube, all right? If anyone, Natalia is my fiance, for those of you that don't know. Can we not tell her about this? Because, of course, I've told her. Maybe. I don't think she remembers. But let's just keep it between us, guys, all right? Please. She knows that I invest for YouTube. I don't know if she knows exactly how much money I invest for YouTube. Anyways, MSTY, down 50% in the past year. Not great, but all in all, would you be positive? We're going to find out. And I do think MSTY has probably the best chance of being positive, or at least close to it, because, again, we are at $97. So we're almost there. And if we were in a good market, this would be rocketing. I will say there's a lot of people that are in love with MSTY, and I understand it because it's time and time again kind of proven that it really is a top performer for YieldMax. And of course, it's based off MSTR's price. And if Bitcoin falls, MSTR falls. If MSTR falls, we see MSTY fall. So don't forget that. Bitcoin's going into the crypto winter, as some are saying. I'm not a crypto fanatic, so I like crypto. I'm not crazy about it. Obviously, I have a whole channel dedicated to stocks, but I don't know what's going to go down. I don't know. Please don't ask me. Talk amongst yourselves in the comments because I'm not the expert on it whatsoever. So we have XYZY, which is a hilarious name, first of all. On the 1 month, it's down 23%. Oh my gosh. Year to date, down 45.41%, and on the 1 year, down 61%. I actually thought it was going to be worse than that. So I guess CONY is the worst performer. At least, I mean, we'll see. No, CONY was above $60 market value. Market value for this is $60.49, which is awful. I mean, this thing was $21.70 not so long ago. Our average cost is $18.10 because we keep buying in all the time. But something must have happened here that caused this insane drop. I didn't think any of the other ones had that significant of a drop. But XYZY, we're down big, 44.81%. Not happy about that, and it's only going to get worse as this thing keeps dropping. I don't know if it's going to keep dropping. Maybe XYZ will bump up. I don't know, but a lot's going on. Crypto's involved. The market as a whole is involved, and so we're just going to hold on for the ride and potentially dollar cost average. No way we have one that's positive, what, 11%? PLTY, the YieldMax PLTR option income strategy ETF. We are up an average cost of $67.89 and a current price of $58.97, which I know might sound kind of funny, but we are positive with our dividends that have been paid out. So overall P&L or unrealized P&L, we are negative, but total we are positive. The nice thing with this too is we are buying at 68. Man, we bought at the top. What is this timing? What happened here? My goodness. We really did. Actually, no, it just fell off recently. It fell off on the month. So we actually did buy, when did we even buy this? 2025, January. It was still so expensive when we bought, and then it tanked. Doesn't look as bad now. We zoom out, year to date, down 17.17%. 1 year positive, 16.59%, because PLTR went absolutely insane. It ran over 100%. And guess who missed it? Guess who was going to buy it but never found the time? Guess who also did the same thing with SoFi Technologies? So, just so you guys know, some YouTubers, they might say they win, they make all this money, blah, blah, blah. Everyone loses sometimes. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to try to prove to you guys that I'm a better trader than you, because chances are I'm not. Let's just be real. I just buy whatever I feel like buying. I don't care. I buy for my investment style, and you guys should too. That's the key to these things. Don't get it in your head that these YouTubers are master traders. They're making all this money. I promise it's most likely not the case, especially day traders. Nothing pisses me off like day traders saying that they make $5K a day. They don't. I mean, maybe if you had $100 million from your parents' money to invest. Anyway, I got to stop going on these rants about these crazy rich grifters. Okay, for my older audience, grifters, do I even know what grifters are? They're people that are given like an upper hand and kind of like to play it off like they're doing everything on their own. That might not even be the right definition. I don't know. But anyways, something like that. So it's a negative word, but it's not a bad word per se. So I don't even know where I was. PLTY. Not bad. Could be worse. It's positive. It's the best in the account. I will say that right now. And I'm excited to show you guys the actual return and the dividends that we've been paid out by these funds. But first, ticker ULTY. This thing is one of the ugliest charts I've ever seen. And I say that because I've been watching it for the weekly account. And like, look at this. We're down 18% past month. Year to date, down 31.71. But on the 1 year chart, like, brother, if you were able to just short this, you would make so much money. I mean, it fell. What did it even fall? Almost 70% in a year. Is it even been out for a year? No. So, well, I guess, yeah. What? February? Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? It's so funny looking to me. It's so terrible. I mean, I bought around here, so I'm not terribly negative. But, I mean, on this account, we're more negative. We are down 14%, 13.14%. Not as terrible as it could be. We have an average cost of $8.69. And we can see initially, I mean, this thing was trading for $19. So it just keeps falling and falling and falling. Now that it's gone weekly, there was a little bit more hype. We saw this run up, but then the market kind of tanked again. So only time will tell if it's worth it. Now that it's gone weekly, if it's going to make an impact. I'm really curious to see, because sometimes a lot of people will buy in just because they are weekly payers, not because they're making a lot of money. But, you know, to each their own. All that being said, it's been fun. I've been enjoying watching this account, but we have a lot of work to do. Let's check that dividend tracking spreadsheet. So, how are we doing? Well, we're off a little bit from our Robinhood portfolio to our dividend tracking spreadsheet, but we can see roughly we're down $150. Market return total, we're down more than that because the dividends are reinvesting and they're dropping. So we're losing more, but we are getting that money from the dividends alone. Now, monthly dividend income. January was our best at $57. February was our second best at $56, and this month we just dropped to $49.33. We're going to look at the dividends in just a second and see why that is. Definitely a bummer, though. I don't want to see this thing continue to fall. We can see because PLTY is the positive one in the account, it's gone up in the total percentage point, whereas our biggest losers are slowly dropping more and more and more. So, jumping into our monthly dividend log. For those that don't know, this spreadsheet is available for our Tier 3 members. Helps support the channel, helps me do more challenges just like this, and I like to use it for all of these. That's why I had it created. But I also like it for my actual portfolio, my Roth, to see how much money I'm making every single month, which has been really fun to track. Dividends so far. We can see CONY had a low one this week. Month. TSLY had another really low one this month. YMAG was low. YMAX was a little bit lower, but not by much. AMZY wasn't bad. NVDY was bad. I'm wondering if they're going to pay out a second dividend. Sometimes it comes in like two pieces, which is the weirdest part. And I don't know why it does that. It did it for the first one as well, but I don't know why. Like, why is it splitting? Do your guys ever do that? Does it split the dividends into two dividends? Because right now I only have one for March, but I guarantee I will be getting a second one I think I will. Maybe I won't. Because when we look, we can see the first 2 months were really high dividends, and now we're getting about half. I don't know if it's paying it into, consecutive payments. I don't know. But hopefully we do, because that would help this one come out into the green, which would be amazing. MSTY, a low month. XYZY, a low month. PLTY, average, not too bad. And ULTY, a big month, but this is because it paid out its last monthly payment and then also the first couple of weeklies. So total, our biggest payer is actually PLTY, and second place, we're kind of tied with ULTY and Misty, both coming in a close second. And our biggest loser for sure is AMZY with some really low dividends, paying out less than the weekly payers, which really surprised me. Whoa, really surprised me. But only time will tell. YMAG's also pretty low. XYZY is lower, so it all depends on your style, on what you're looking for. Just because they're paying out less in dividends does not mean they are worse investments. But let's check our overall positions tab and find out. One thing that's really interesting is I'm updating the number of shares and the average cost per share every updated video. And I do want to show you guys the 52-week range has just been decimated. All of these are near all-time lows except for PLTY. When we slide over, these numbers are a little bit off because we are positive by like 11% with PLTY, and it has to do with the uninvested cash in the account. That's why it's kind of showing this being a little bit weird. But all in all, everything's pretty much in the red. Some of these are really beaten down. Worst performer looks like XYZY, and CONY is up there as well. The dividend reinvestment has helped it, but absolutely insane. It also auto pulls the dividends from Seeking Alpha. And so we can see the highest dividend currently is 153% from MSTY, and our lowest looks like it is actually XYZY. So it's also dropping the most and paying out the least, which is disappointing. AMZY, 60%, so a little bit higher and kind of similar in dividends. So interesting how AMZY has a higher yield, but thus has paid out less than XYZY. Who knows? Anyways, I mean, I'm really curious how these are going to perform. I hope the market rebounds, but only time will tell. Thank you guys for listening to me try and stutter through this with my injured tongue, which is an insane thing to say. But I appreciate your guys' support. Remember, if you haven't entered the giveaway yet, check out the giveaway video on my channel so that you don't miss out an opportunity to get some free money. I always appreciate you guys. And if you want to check out Moomoo's brokerage for these weekly payers, I really do recommend it. It's linked below as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, chances are you're going to enjoy these popping up on your screen right now, particularly the weekly dividend ETF account update, which I think you guys will enjoy. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next video.